Hello and welcome. My name is Daniel Wright. I'm a senior technical marketing engineer at Adobe. I create a lot of videos and tutorials for Experience Platform, which are available on Experience League. I just want to start with a quick plug for a new landing page we created for AI Assistant, containing a lot of great videos, many created by senior evangelist Rudy Schumpert, who was originally going to be a guest today, but just moved into a new role at Adobe. So congrats to Rudy. Today's topic is unlocking operational insights with AI Assistant in Adobe Experience Platform. So Operational Insights is a new capability. It's been in open beta for a while, so you might have seen it and used it, but it officially released just last week. So this isn't the AI assistant ability that can answer general product questions. This is a capability that expands the scope of what AI Assistant can do, that goes deep into the innards of your individual customized implementation of platform, and of course, platform apps like Real-Time CDP and Journey Optimizer. So we're going to demo the feature, talk about roadmap, responsible AI, and take some audience questions. So please, as questions come up, put them in the comments area. And with that, let's introduce our special guests. So our first guest has been able to see her apartment from the desk of every job she's ever had. Please welcome product manager Namita Krishnan.
Hello. Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Namita. So I guess is that a positive thing? I guess it's a positive thing because you've been near a window at every job you've ever had, so that's good. But so first, how many jobs have you had?
This is across three different roles I've had. So in the US, back in India, somehow miraculously, I've always found a place right next to my office. That's just my way of doing work-life balance, I think.
So it sounds like this was intentional. You sought out a
Pretty
place
much.
that was
Yeah,
close to your. Did you
absolutely.
get the
I
apartment first
I
or the
definitely
job
don't want to
first?
struggle with traffic.
Uh
So
huh.
yeah,
So you would say this is a good thing for your mental health to live that close to work.
I would definitely say so. It has been a positive influence in my life. Yes.
All right. Well, our next guest is ethnically Vietnamese, but her favorite Vietnamese dish is neither pho nor banh mi. Please welcome product marketing manager Huang Vu.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, Daniel. Morning, Namita. Very happy to be here. Yes.
Welcome, Hung. I like it that we're not all business here on Experience League Live. We get some food tips too. So please tell us, what is your favorite Vietnamese dish, and is it summer rolls? Because that's mine.
It is also not summer roll, although it is one of my favorite. But I think my most favorite food would be this dish called broken rice. So basically, it's like not they used to be not perfect rice, but it kind of just got broken up in like the process of processing or something, and then they kind of try to find a way to reuse that broken rice and make it into a really scrumptious dish of like broken rice and with a bunch of toppings on top. So you have like grilled pork chop, you have like a fried egg and a bunch of different really great toppings. It's like your usual rice but upgraded thing. Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Mhm. Yeah, it sounds good. I'm gonna have to try that next time I get Vietnamese food. So it's great to have you both on as the product manager and product marketing manager who brought this new capability to market. And I'm sure you're exhausted from all the last minute tasks getting this officially launched. And so thank you for taking the time to be with us here this morning. And let's get into it. Hung, let's start with you. What do you want to tell us about AI Assistant?
For sure. Shall I go ahead with my screen? Yes. All right. Okay, so thank you very much, Daniel, for the introductions. And good morning, everyone. As Daniel mentioned, I am the product marketing manager. So very excited to be here today with my product manager counterpart, Namita Krishnan. We have been partner in crime since day one for one of the key products, which is AI Assistant in Adobe Experience Platform. So very happy to be here to share with you a little bit more about that. So here's a quick agenda for today. So I'll start us off with the vision behind AI Assistant and the value that it has brought to many customers. Namita will then bring us through some key use cases of AI Assistant through a great demo, and also she'll discuss what's on the horizon for AI Assistant before passing it back to me for the responsible AI principles and customer data stewardship behind the development of AI Assistant. And then last but not least, I'll share with you the most important thing, which is how do you unlock access to this great feature, and also how do you learn more about the latest and greatest of AI Assistant at Adobe Summit 2025, which is actually just right around the corner. Time has flown by. We've also set aside time to answer any of your questions, so please feel free to either drop them in the chat anytime, or we can also answer them live. All right, so before we begin, allow me to set some context here. So if you take a moment to zoom out and look across Adobe Experience Cloud, AI assistant capabilities are really being built into many of our products to help our customers. So we have Adobe Experience Manager, we have Adobe Experience Platform, and we have Adobe Workfront. In today's session, we will be focusing on AI assistant in Adobe Experience Platform and the platform-based applications. So Adobe Journey Optimizer, Customer Journey Analytics, and Real-Time CDP. So now that we have that context in mind, let me walk you through the vision and value propositions behind AI Assistant. So since the introduction of ChatGPT and other large language models in 2022, I don't know about you, but the way that I have approached my works have changed and has shifted so profoundly. And at Adobe, we are at the forefront of really leveraging the powerful generative AI to craft personalized experiences and enhance productivity for our customers. Which is why in 2024, last year, we unveiled AI Assistant at Summit, and by last June, product has become generally available. And what started as a vision for an intelligent assistant aimed at boosting user productivity is now a reality. And we have 8 months worth of evidence showing the significant changes in how our customers have engaged with the platform through AI Assistant. And then you've likely heard about the growing buzz around agents, and this represents the future of generative AI within Adobe Experience Platform. And we are slowly transitioning towards more agent-driven workflows in our products, and it's very crucial for you to be really deeply integrated into that AI assistant ecosystem so that you are fully equipped to harness the potential of these emerging agentic flows. And Adobe's goal has always been to lead the way in delivering the next generation digital experiences. And AI Assistant is a key component of these innovations already coming to life within Adobe Experience Cloud. And we're also introducing other groundbreaking generative AI innovations such as Gen Studio. And we have entirely new solutions in the pipeline designed with a focus on Gen AI powered use cases. So that's the context. And now let us zoom into AI Assistant in Adobe Experience Platform. So AI Assistant is a conversational generative AI tool that meant to boost productivity, redefine work in Adobe Experience Platform-based applications. And AI Assistant is capable of many different tasks, and a number of them are already available to any legally eligible customers. So from helping customers to master product knowledge and troubleshoot, uncovering operational insights about business objects, which is what we're focusing on today. And then it also helps customer to create and iterate content. And then we also have many other capabilities that are in the pipeline, in product, in development, and hopefully will be available to you very soon, which is to help you, optimize your audience, help you to analyze and visualize your data, and also analyze how your journey is being used and is performing. And when we develop AI assistant, the business impact that we envision for AI assistant is the fact that it can make it very easy for customers to use experience platform applications. So instead of having to go through, multiple experience link documentation pages to find the answers to your questions, you can ask that question to AI assistant, which then reduces roadblock to product mastery and product proficiency for both new and experienced users. And secondly, we envision it to open up access to data and metadata. So users no longer have to depend on their data team to be able to create SQL queries to get answers to your questions. You can ask those questions to AI assistant, and that means that you can get answer really quickly. And unlocking access to all of those valuable insights. And then together, this means that you'll be able to increase, to boost your productivity, to streamline operational workflows, and remove any unnecessary roadblocks or dependencies. And the impact of AI assistance is felt across a wide range of roles. So we can safely say that it is the productivity companions for so many users across very diverse roles, starting from highly technical team who is responsible for managing data and implementing platform systems, to marketing operations team ensuring audiences and journeys are optimized for campaign execution, to marketing teams seeking to stay ahead by leveraging the latest tools to accelerate campaign creation and completion. We found that no matter what your role is, you'll be able to find value in AI assistant while incorporating that into your workflows. So now let's dive a little bit deeper into the value that we have seen AI assistant bring to our customers. And we've identified three key benefits that it has provide. Firstly, it's very clear by answering questions and getting those answers back quickly and efficiently. AI assistant can help users save time, boost productivity, and this can translate into significant cost savings in the long run. Secondly, it also harnesses the power of data. So we found that before AI assistant, our users often need custom reports. They need assistance from their technical teams and analysts to be able to access data and uncover the insights that they require. And in some cases, they might have to rely on their gut instinct or even guesswork. But now with data at their fingertips, users are making way more confident, way more data-driven decisions. And then last but not least, marketing is an ever evolved field with new tools, new features being rolled out in Adobe Experience Platform every few weeks. So AI Assistant can help our customers stay up to date, stay ahead of that curve, keeping tracks of what is the latest updates and the latest trends. And I could go on about the value all day, but instead let me share some numbers that truly illustrate the impact of AI Assistant. So, from conversations with our customers, doing survey with them, we have found that, marketing teams are saving more than 70 plus hours a week when they engage with AI assistant in their workflows. And these are some real productivity and quality gains. And the 70-hour saving can actually be broken down further into the savings of very specific tasks, such as, ensuring data hygiene, troubleshooting, learning new features, and optimizing audiences. And as you can see there, the reduction in time is anywhere between 75% and almost 100%. And that's some amazing, amazing numbers that we're seeing. But, having said that, seeing is believing. So I will pass on the time to Namita, who comes with a really amazing demo so you can see AI Assistant in action. Over to you, Namita.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Hong and Daniel, for having me today. As we mentioned, the team and I have been focusing on bringing all of these amazing capabilities of AI Assistant, including product knowledge and operational insights over the past few months. So today, I am super excited to show some of these use cases live in front of you. The three use cases that I will be demoing today are going to be around data management, audience management, and journey management. So, whether you're a data engineer or a marketing operations manager, if you're building audiences all day or, creating all of those perfect journeys for your end customers, I do believe that AI assistant can help you save time, make a lot better, efficient decisions, and generally just improve the quality of your life as you work in the platform. So I would encourage you, if you're watching us live today or watching a recording of this later on, feel free to follow along with me, try out some of these capabilities, and just get your hands dirty as well, right? So because everything that I'm going to be showing today, all of these capabilities are generally available. So as long as you are legally eligible to use AI Assistant and have all of the right permissions set up, you should be able to follow along with me and explore AI Assistant as well. Talking about permissions, I thought it might be helpful to just give a quick context setting on how permissions work. So at Adobe, we do believe that all of our enterprise customers do get control over who gets to use AI Assistant and other generative AI features. So please work with the administrators at your organization. they should make sure that AI Assistant is available to you as you perform your roles in Adobe Experience Platform. So any admin in a particular organization can access the permissions UI within Adobe Experience Platform, choose a particular role that they want to add AI Assistant to, and all they need to do is add this particular resource here called AI Assistant. Within AI Assistant, you might see a bunch of different resources. The two key things to remember here is that the first one, which is enable AI Assistant, this will actually make sure that you can use AI Assistant. So anytime an admin is adding these permissions, this is absolutely necessary to make sure the users can actually use AI Assistant. For the capabilities that I'm going to be showing today, so operational insights, you will also need this additional permission called view operational insights. So at least for today's session, these are the two permissions that are of importance. But again, I would encourage you to work with your administrators, make sure that you have all of the permissions necessary to really streamline your workflows in the platform. So that's about it for permissions. I hope that you are able to guide your administrator to give you permissions to unlock access. But let's get into the demo, right? So AI Assistant is going to be available to you in all of the different applications at Adobe Experience Platform, be it real-time CDP, Adobe Journey Optimizer, as well as Customer Journey Analytics. And the way to launch AI Assistant is through this nice little chat icon right here on the top header. So it's called AI Assistant chat icon, and all you need to do is click this to launch AI Assistant. At a first glance, it looks like a chat interface. It's, there's a text box here where you can ask questions in natural language. AI Assistant understands the context of your questions and is able to give you relevant answers, within seconds, right? So this is something that's going to work alongside you as you perform your day-to-day jobs in Adobe Experience Platform. So one cool thing that I do want to highlight is that AI Assistant doesn't even wait for you to type in your questions. It proactively suggests some questions that might be suitable for your role right here. So every time I log in and I open up AI Assistant, I see 3 questions suggested to me that I can get my conversation started with. I also have the option to refresh these suggestions so that I can keep exploring newer kinds of questions that I can get help with. The second way, and even a cooler feature that I wanted to show today, is something we called a Discover panel, which is essentially a prompt library. So if you look at the top header right here, there is a light bulb icon. And when you click into it, it's almost an extensive library of all kinds of supported questions that is almost a cheat sheet for you, right? As you're learning AI Assistant and all of the different capabilities, you should definitely make this a habit to keep coming back. Even as a PM, I do this all the time, right? Like sometimes I'm like, what else can I ask an AI assistant? And I always find this super helpful to just quickly refresh my memory on the different kinds of questions that I can ask. And it's all neatly categorized based on the business objects, right? So if I'm exploring something related to data sets, all I need to do is come in here, look at some supported questions. I can also click on this eye icon right here to see additional information about the kinds of questions that are supported right now. And obviously, there's also some key capabilities that are not supported, but we're actively working on. So again, this is a really handy way to make sure that you are making the most of AI Assistant, are making sure you understand what's supported as well as what's not supported. Cool. So this is just a quick primer of all the different ways within the product that you can learn more about AI Assistant. Let's get into the first use case that I wanted to start with. So for the first use case, I am going to take on the role of a data engineer. So let's say that I am a data engineer. I work at a wellness firm, and I have been tasked with a super mission critical objective. So my firm, we are actually overhauling the way that we handle loyalty data in our database. We really need to overhaul the systems. And as a data engineer, obviously, I have a lot of people to answer back to. My manager actually just let me know that we were looking to deprecate one of the key fields that we use. So the field is called loyalty ID. It's an XDM field we bring in with loyalty data, but because of the system upgrade, we're actually looking to deprecate this field and won't be using it any longer. As you can imagine, this is super risky to do. There's definitely going to be some impact downstream if we were to deprecate this field. So my job for this week, at least, is to make sure that I understand what that impact is, and I can go back to my manager and my team with a nice report of what the effort would even be if we were to deprecate this field. Typically, I would say it would take me the whole week to do this. I would have to look at all of my schemas, all of my data sets, audiences, list down every place this particular field is used so that I understand the impact. But for today, let's see how AI Assistant can help me with. So I see that there's this nice text box, and all I need to do is know how to ask questions, I guess. So let's see if AI Assistant can answer some of my questions. As I'm typing, I notice that I don't even need to complete my sentence. AI Assistant is reading my mind now, and it knows what I'm trying to ask and actually pulls up a list of suggestions for me to just click into. So as I said, I was trying to find out schemas that have a particular XDM field, and this suggestion right here seems to be exactly that. So all I need to do is click on that suggestion, and it actually gets pulled into my text box for me to execute. There is a placeholder. The word attribute here seems to be highlighted in blue, indicating that it's a placeholder for me to fill in. All I need to do is click on it and enter the attribute that I'm actually interested in. So the field that I'm looking for is loyalty ID. I enter the field and hit enter to actually submit the question. It took me, 2 seconds, 3 seconds for that to actually come back. And I see that I have a very tailored list of schemas. I see the attribute that's used to the schema. I have the schema ID if I want to dig further into it. So that's where the magic lies, right? Like, I asked a question about schemas using a field and instantly got a response. So this is what an example of an operational insights question where AI Assistant has access to the business objects in my sandbox. For example, schemas, data sets, and XGM attributes. It can actually run queries against those objects to get me the insights that I need. So let's actually spend some time looking at this complete response, right? So I ask a question. The first thing I see is obviously the answer that I'm looking for. I see a nice table with the attribute schema. As I showed, I can expand this so that I can see the entire table. I can download this as a CSV. All I need to do is click this button. It brings up a CSV if I want to analyze it further, share it with colleagues. So that's also super helpful. But what's really interesting is the part after my response, right? So AI Assistant is obviously an enterprise product, and I really need to make sure that I am not making any mistakes. As I mentioned, this is super critical, and I don't want to rely on the answers AI Assistant gave me unless I can make sure that it did the right thing. So this AI Assistant actually tells me exactly how it got the answer for me, what it did at each step. And if I'm feeling a little bit more curious, there's also an option to view the source query. So if I click into this button, I actually see the SQL that it ran behind the scenes. I'm sure this is not for every other user out there in my firm, but since I am a data engineer, I do understand SQL. I think this is just a really nice way for me to make sure that there's no misunderstanding between the question I asked and what I got back from AI Assistant. So again, just some helpful tips out there to make sure that you can start building trust with what AI Assistant is doing. Back to the story. I got my response. Looks like there are a few schemas that use loyalty ID. Not great news for me because now I need to dig in deeper and really find out the impact. But thankfully, AI Assistant can help me along the way. So one of the schemas that I saw, the Luma CRM schema, is something I do want to dig in a little deeper into. So I'm going to ask AI Assistant to tell me a little bit more about this particular schema. which is the Luma CRM schema. So once again, I click into one of the suggested questions. This word schema here seems to be a placeholder. I'm guessing I need to fill in the name, but when I click on it, I actually get a menu back. So I no longer have to remember the name of the exact schema or the ID of the schema. I get this nice little menu here. I can just enter some of those keywords that I remember, and it actually filters out this menu for me. So this is something that we call object autocomplete or entity autocomplete, because it's basically helping me identify the objects in my sandbox, and I don't need to remember or type out the entire name. So I'm just going to quickly click on one of the schemas that I was interested in, and I'm just trying to learn a little bit more about the schema. Is there something I should be looking for to understand the impact? How can I really dig deeper into the schema? Once again, AI Assistant is able to scan through the schemas that I have, pick the right one, and list out a bunch of details that are super helpful for me. So I can see things like the schema ID, the name, whether it's profile enabled, how many data sets it's associated to, how many attributes it has. So I think a super neat way of really seeing all of this details about the schema. One thing that catches my eye here is that it does seem that there is a data set associated with this. So once again, if I do want to understand where loyalty ID is used, I need to look at what this data set is. How do I really figure out the impact? So let me try to find which is this data set that uses this particular schema. So again, I'm just going to ask AI Assistant to find me data sets that show me, so let's just say, show me data sets that uses this particular schema. I'm going to fill in with the name of the schema, which is Luma CRM, and hit enter. So this would be typically the last thing I need to do. I know the schemas that I'm looking at. I know the data sets that I'm looking at. I have a nice list. I'm pretty sure that, in the next hour or so, I can quickly prepare a report of all of the schemas, all of the data sets that are going to be impacted by this major upgrade, send it over to my manager, and then we can definitely come up with a plan of how we actually do this implementation. So that was a quick demonstration of, something that would have taken me the whole week. I'm actually able to cut it down to just a couple of hours or even lesser. And more importantly, I can be so much more confident in my results, right? There's no more manual work anymore, no more worrying that I missed a particular schema or I missed a particular data set. I can pretty much rely that AI Assistant is giving me a complete list of all of the schemas and data sets that I really need to look into. So that was the first use case I wanted to show, which is how data engineers are finding value as they make system upgrades, pretty much every week. Daniel, I did want to point out that one of those jobs that we talked about at the top of the show, I was a data engineer in one of those jobs. And this was before LLMs, this was before all of this generative AI innovation. And I can tell you that every single day I was getting a bunch of requests from people to run either a SQL query or find a report for someone. I really think AI assistant could have been a shortcut to my life, right? Like if I could just give this to everyone in my team, they could just ask questions in English and get the answers to. I could have been able to save so much time, spend all of that time in actually building cool systems and, making sure the infrastructure works well. So I think it definitely seems like it's breaking down those barriers. For non-technical people, you don't need to understand how schemas and data sets are stored anymore. You can just ask questions to get back a lot of those responses. So it's obviously very excited about.
That's actually a really good point, Namita, because the AI assistant, it's not just for you to use to help you do what you need to do, but you can also like deflect other people and say, hey, why don't you ask AI assistant instead of instead of asking me to do this thing for you? It's like, search it up.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly. Absolutely. I think
a
as
few times.
conversational interfaces become more and more I think natural, I definitely see this like breaking those barriers, right? And I like to joke that I think this is the easiest product to use within the platform. There's not much you need to know. You just need to know English, you need to know how to type. And in some cases, you don't even need to type. You just need to like click on the suggestions that AI assistant is sort of offering you up. So definitely, we've seen how people are kind of changing the way they work with the platform. They're able to bring in more people into the platform. So it's definitely super exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's
I did
definitely
what,
exciting to see AI help with these just kind of boring things,
yep,
just makes it a lot faster.
absolutely. I I can move on to the next use case. So we talked about the data engineer persona. The other kind of persona that we've really seen finding success is a marketing operations specialist or a marketing operations manager, right? So that's the hat I'm going to put on now. As a marketing operations manager, I spend most of my time, either creating, managing, or optimizing hundreds, if not thousands, of audiences every week. It's obviously there's some tedious aspects to the job that I'd like to get rid of, but every decision I take is needs to be very high precision, right? Like that's the only way I can ensure that I'm able to create those personalized experiences for all of my end consumers. So I'm really hoping that AI assistant can help me understand the audiences that I have in my inventory, clean up the inventory, and generally help me take charge and create some of those amazing journeys to create the best experiences. So let's move on to the second use case. One thing I'm going to start by doing is to start a new conversation with AI assistant. So if I click on the three dots right here, I just need to say start new conversation. And this just really ensures that, AI assistant is refreshed. It's ready to start a new topic of conversation because I am kind of switching gears now when you ask some questions about audiences. So it's just a good practice to sort of clear up the memory, if you get what I'm saying. So let's start with a simple question. I just want to see all of my audiences with a particular text in the name. So I'm just trying to find audiences that say loyalty in the name, right? So once again, all I needed to do was type in a few keywords, get some suggestions, click on a suggestion, and in seconds, AI assistant gives me this nice little list of all of the audiences that I have in my sandbox, but limits it to the ones that have loyalty somewhere in the name. So this is a quick way to do some filters. There's almost a million possibilities here, right? The kind of filters you can apply to find particular audiences that you want to explore further. Let's dig in a little bit deeper. So I'm going to follow up on these questions to see if any of these audiences are empty. So I got some audiences here in the previous question. I just want to see if any of these have zero profiles or are empty to sort of dig a little deeper. And again, I get back two audiences this time. So, Daniel, something interesting you might have noticed is that in this particular question, I didn't have to specify what these mean, right? Like I just said, hey, do any of these have zero profiles? And it kind of understood the context that by these, I actually mean to the audiences that were present in the previous question, and it applies both of those filters here. So it actually picks up audiences with loyalty in the name and have zero profiles to sort of help me have these multi-turn conversations. So this is again a feature that I'm starting to enjoy with AI assistant, that it's almost like talking to a human. I don't have to keep giving it context. It kind of remembers our previous conversations and is able to adapt its answers. So again, super powerful, and it does take a while to get used to it and really believe that this works, but it does. So feel free to like keep asking questions and follow up on previous questions to get the conversation going. On that topic, there is also a new feature called related suggestions for operational insights. So like I said, it's I'm guessing with operational insights, the point is to dive deeper and keep asking follow-up questions. So this is something that was newly released as well to help you continue a conversation. With each question, you can just see a bunch of follow-up questions that can help you sort of keep the conversation going, ask new questions about the previous topic, and sort of dig deeper into all of the objects that you have. For the second use case, I actually wanted to solve a specific problem that I've been having. As I mentioned, I'm a marketing operations manager and mainly work with building and managing all of our audiences. We have noticed that there's been a few new people in our team. They've been experimenting with the platform, and because of that, they've created a bunch of test or even duplicated audiences in our sandbox just to figure out how the system works. But the problem is that this is actually causing a lot of confusion. People are getting confused. They're seeing duplicate audiences. They don't know which ones to use. And I'd really like some help in decluttering my audience inventory, making sure that I can get rid of all of these duplicates. So once again, I'm just going to ask AI Assistant if it can actually help me with finding out some of these duplicated audiences. So I'm going to ask it to show me details of some duplicated audiences. Now, without this, this is a pretty tricky endeavor, right? Like I would need to go into the audiences portal, actually click into each and every audience to view the definitions and then compare notes to see which ones are duplicate. So it's a super manual process, but with AI Assistant, again, why ask the question and instantly get a list of all of the audiences that have the same definition. So I get the definition, the profile counts, the audience names, everything that I need to really understand that, there's something going wrong here. Why do we have so many audiences that are duplicate in nature? We definitely need to do some cleanup here. So that's what I'm trying to do next, is making sure that, let's pick the example of this one, the test edge event. It also has test in the name, which is pretty suspicious. Let's just quickly confirm that this is something I can safely delete. So I'm going to ask AI Assistant if this particular audience, which is the test edge event audience, is that even used in any of the other audiences? So we've seen that people create audiences within audiences. So just making sure that the test edge event isn't used anywhere else, and then I can safely delete it. So that's the first question I'm going to ask. And amazing. I think this is a good sign. It says that there's no data, there's nothing that met the input criteria. So looks like it isn't used in any audience. So that's a good first step. The last thing I do want to check is that if there are any destinations that use this, destinations that are linked to this particular segment. That's the last thing I do want to check to make sure we don't run into issues if I were to delete it. I mean, deleting audiences, I think it's definitely one of the scarier parts of my jobs. I don't really look forward to it because I'm not sure what could go wrong. So just making sure with AI Assistant, I think I can breathe a little better today that even if I were to delete this, it's all good. Nobody's going to come back and complain that, their audience broke or that their destination broke. So this is just a last check that I want to do before I can safely delete the audience as well.
This seems like it could be a really useful tool for customers to help them manage their license usage as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I think we've definitely heard people struggling to stay within guardrails, especially when it comes to their audiences. They create test audiences or some kind of temporary ones. That is obviously a hard job to go back and clean up. It's something nobody wants to do. So as long as we can get in all of these insights that help us clean up, I think that's going to be a game changer for sure. So as we are waiting for this response to come back, I did want to call out the last and third use case that I wanted to show today, which is more related to journeys. So AI Assistant, as I mentioned, and the operational insights capability is available both for real-time CDP for people working with audiences, but also in AJO. It's also available in Adobe Journey Optimizer for people that might be working day in and day out with journeys. So what I'm going to do is quickly switch over to the AJO UI just to see how AI Assistant can help me with this as well. So as you can see, I've switched over to the Adobe Journey Optimizer. Things on the left nav seem to have changed. Things in the main page seem to have changed as well. One thing that's constant is AI Assistant. It's still right here, ready for me to ask questions. So that's something I've really liked as well, how consistent it is that, as I'm switching applications or products, as I'm switching a lot of context, as I work in the platform, I can still kind of rely on AI Assistant to be there and ask questions. So I'm just going to end the demo by going into the Discover panel once again to see the kind of questions I can ask about my journeys. So there's obviously some basic questions to understand the different kind of journeys I have, when they were last created or modified. The one thing that's super relevant to me right now is to actually find out the relationship between audiences and journeys. So I'm just going to click into this, and what I need to know is click enter. Just give me a second as I refresh the page. So that's again a super interesting use case that we've seen our customers really love, is that they can find the lineage of audiences and journeys no matter if they're in RTCDP or AJO. It's pretty much the same functionality that they can continue to use across both of their products. So a quick refresh seemed to have helped. I am now running the query to see if there are any audiences that I used in live journeys. Again, I get back a quick response that says that there is a particular audience that's used in journeys. So these are just a few examples that I've shown you today to say how AI Assistant is really helping users save time, make some of those difficult, decisions as they accomplish their goals. But there's a lot more to come as well, and that's something I'm super excited to share. We have a very rich roadmap of things obviously coming in the next few months. So I would really love to share the roadmap. Hong or Daniel, if we can move over back to the slides to show the roadmap as well. Perfect. So I did show you some interesting use cases. We've seen that users are saving up to hours or even days of effort. But what I'm really excited about is what's yet to come, right? So the team is super busy at work. We've been running these in front of a lot of our customers, and we have a bunch of exciting features coming up in the next couple of months. So some of them are related to audiences. So things like estimating audience size and propensity. We can use AI Assistant to monitor significant changes in audiences. But then there's a bunch of other capabilities like using AI Assistant to discover different kinds of XDM fields, using it to create support tickets, within the interface itself. There's a really cool feature coming in customer journey analytics, which is actually being able to visualize your data in CJA by just asking a question in natural language. That's obviously going to be a game changer as well. And you can create quick visualizations by just asking questions. The last feature we are actively working on is making sure we can uncover even more insights about data sets, including sizes, row counts, as well as aspects of observability. So these are just some of them that we have actively worked on. These are available to a limited set of customers as well. So we're really seeing how AI Assistant is moving from just being a productivity companion to more of a thinking partner. It can really help you unlock even more insights, whether it be about your objects, but also deeper insights to help you accomplish your goals in AEP. So that was a quick demo, and happy to move it over to Hong to talk about some of the other considerations as well.
All right, amazing. Thank you, Namita. Really, really cool demo. I never get over how cool this demo is. All right, so now let us take a look at the responsible AI principles as well as the customer data stewardship behind the development of AI assistant. So from the start, we have built AI assistant with the principles of responsible AI at the forefront. We've worked with our alpha and beta customers to really better understand what they have expect from AI assistant. So on the screen, you can see the different privacy, security, and governance focused capabilities that you can expect today with AI assistant. So firstly, permission. As Namita has mentioned, AI assistant is not on by default, so users must be granted permissions by their administrators to be able to interact with AI assistant. And these permissions can actually be set differently for each product. So maybe one users will be able to access AI assistant on RTCDP, but not in AJO, for example, depending on their role, as well as the different capabilities can also be set at the sandbox level. Secondly, access control. AI assistant will honor all role-based access control policies, and any new object level access control policies will be reflected in AI assistant after a maximum of 24 hours. And last but not least, AI assistant is a HIPAA ready feature. It meets all of the HIPAA requirements to process and use protected health data. In addition,
Hung,
yeah.
could I ask you a question about the role-based access control? So an example of that would be like if I, as a user, didn't have permissions to like view schemas or manage schemas or anything related to schemas, then I wouldn't be able to ask questions about schemas. The operational insights that really told me what schemas I had what fields. It would respect the user permissions that the admins had given to me. Is that correct?
Yes, that is exactly right. So as an administrator, you can really kind of set that level of access control to the granular level, really based on what role the users is holding and what kind of data they can access. So it's especially important for very confidential information.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Perfect. All right. So additionally, I also want to point out that AI assistant has been developed with customer data stewardship in mind. So very specifically, the generative experiments model allows Adobe to ensure that, firstly, when it comes to data usage, AI assistant does not use or share data across customers. We look at user prompt informations to really derive customer agnostic annotated data. And this is really used to train our non-generative ML models to become better, to become more efficient in answering your future questions. And we also restrict third-party large language model. So OpenAI does not leverage data sent to the service to improve or train their models, and also logging is disabled. When it comes to content filtering, we ensure that our content filtering is top tier. We leverage OpenAI's content filtering as well as Adobe filters. So there's two level of filters, and we only provide responses if users pass both of these checks. And then last but not least, we understand how important verifiability is to our customers, and hence it's extremely, extremely important to us. We want our customers to be able to trust the answers that AI assistant provides and take actions from those answers. So each answer provided has many layers of verifiability, some of the things that Namita has pointed out in her demo. But the fact that no third-party resources are used to provide responses back to us, to our customers. Everything is either from our documentations or from your business objects themselves. And so I hope that we have succeeded in convincing you at the amazing productivity and quality gains the AI assistant can bring, as well as our top tier responsible AI principles and customer data stewardship behind AI assistant. So much so that at this point, I hope that you are starting to wonder, if you are not legally eligible yet, how can you unlock access to this great feature? So I'm happy to share that it is only a two-step process, and I know Namita has given some kind of insight into this earlier. But basically, the first step is that if you are already a licensed AEP and apps customer, so if you are a customer of real-time CDP, customer journey analytics, and Adobe Journey Optimizers, the first step is to agree to the specific licensing terms for Adobe Experience Cloud generative AI features. And then once you sign that Gen AI legal addendum, as mentioned multiple times, the admin of the customer must grant permissions to applicable users across the organization for them to start using AI assistant. It will not be on by default. So if you're ready to take the actions, you can reach out to, for the first step, you can reach out to your account team to sign the legal addendum. You get the access to AI assistant on an organizational level. And then on a user level, your admin must grant permissions to applicable users. Again, you can grant that according to the app or according to the capability for different teams across the organizations to really unlock all of the valuable use cases that we have shared earlier. And if you want to learn about the latest and greatest of AI assistant, I believe there's no better place to do so than our upcoming Adobe Summit, which is the digital experience conference of the year, if I may say so myself. And actually, it's a little bit less than 3 weeks away. Time truly, truly flew by. But the pre-conference is on 17 March, and the in-person and online conference will take place between March 18 and 20th.
And
Actually,
will you be there, Hung and Namita?
be there. Yes, we will both be
Yes,
there. This
for the
will be
first.
our first summit, so extremely excited.
Fantastic. Great.
And yeah, so as I mentioned, you can actually, if you are at home, you are watching this recording later on, you can actually just screenshot this slide as like your guide to learning more about agentic AI at Summit. Everything about AI assistant, everything about agents at Summit. So we have many breakout sessions dedicated to really deep dive into different capabilities and use case of AI assistant across Experience Platform and our platform-based applications. Some special shout outs to S652 there, AI driven excellence, how AI assistant transform customer experience and team efficiency. We have our product manager, Rachel, speaking alongside one of our really great speaker from AAA Northeast to deep dive into the many great use cases of AI assistant. And another great session is at 653 under the hood of Adobe's Gen AI innovations. You can see from the name that it suggests we really unveil what goes on under the hood of our Gen AI innovations and what's on the horizon for us. And the session is led by our product leaders, Mira and Horia. We also have a number of labs that you can get hands-on experience. You really try it out for yourself, see it in action. And then last but not least, you also get the chance to meet the team behind many of our Gen AI and agentic innovations at the dedicated zone, which is part of our community pavilion. So very quickly about the zone, it's as the name suggests, everything Gen AI, everything agentic will be at this zone in the community pavilion. And you can learn about how all of these solutions are driving business transformation, really enhance how you interact with our products, and empower you to be able to spark creativity, to really gain productivity and achieve greater business outcomes. So come along, experience it for yourself, see our roadmap, share your feedback with us, and be inspired on how you can leverage all of this in your daily workflows.
Great.
And yeah,
And before we get into our last segment, we do have some audience questions that we want to get to. The first is from Bart Santing, who asks, AI assistant looks amazing and it's very clearly explained by Amita. Where does the underlying LLM live, and would it be possible to use our own?
Sure, I can take that question. And thanks, Bart, for your question and for tuning in today. So, as Hong mentioned, we do currently use the Azure OpenAI APIs and a mix of some of the in-house models as well to be able to completely answer your question. In terms of using your own LLMs, it is not something that's possible right now, but I'd love to connect with you and understand your use cases as well. I also want to share that we do have a comprehensive security fact sheet, and I can post the link into the chat later on as well. But the security fact sheet, and there's an accompanying video, goes into a lot more detail about the exact architecture of how AI assistant is able to answer either product knowledge or operational insights questions, what kind of models it uses both internally as well as how it really deals with the Azure OpenAI APIs as well. So I think that might answer a lot of your questions about the underlying LLM. And I'm happy to send over the link in the chat right after this.
Yep. And another question from Pharaoh Blackwell, when will the AI assistant have support for other languages?
Again, great question. I think so. Right now, AI Assistant only works with English, but we are in some communications with our customers outside of the US, in South America, EMEA, as well as APAC to sort of understand what their localization or globalization requirements would be. How is it really possible to get AI Assistant working for people across the world in their own local languages. So I don't have a definite date yet, but again, would love to sync with you to understand what some of those requirements might be so that we can work towards that goal as well.
Great. And with that, we can move into our final segment, which is the all right. And this episode's unrelated cool tip is going to be presented by Hung. Hung, tell us, share your
I,
knowledge.
oh my. So this is one of those like random tips that I see on one of the videos. I think it was titled "Top 30 Things I Wish I Know Before I Was 30." And it's actually like the right way to use our post-it notes. So this I have. Okay, I forgot that this is this all right. Oh no, it keep going out. All right. So the
Keep
best
going.
way to use a post-it note. So I always like my whole life, I've always kind of taken it from like the bottom because it's kind of just like always kind of flipping up a little bit. So you're like, oh, I think that's the right way to use it. So I have like a thing here. I don't know if this will work, but you just have to take my word for it. So basically I always use it. And the problem with this, and I guess that's like a user problem, is oops, it's not sticking there, is the fact that whenever you stick it on, it kind of like lift up and curl up, and so you have a bunch of them. It kind of
It's
annoys me
no
to know
good.
it. It's like lift up and like you can't really read it properly from afar, and it's really annoying. So that's I just thought that that's just like the way that it is, and I just come to live with it. But recently I've learned that the best way to do it is actually to peel from the side. So this is like where all of the sticky part is. So you're supposed to actually steal from the sticky part. Oops. I'm like not mastering this live stream situation, but you're supposed to peel from the sticky part up this way, and then stick it on. And it's supposed to be, oops,
Ooh, look at that.
again, oops, not coming in. It's supposed to be like
Yes.
it lays a lot flatter. It sticks to the surfaces, and now it's perfect. My life has changed, even though I
Amazing.
don't use post-it note anymore. So my kids can mommy know some cool tips too. Yeah.
Yeah. Who needs large language models when we have Hung Vu's life experience? Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Namita, Hung, and everyone in the audience today. We look forward to seeing you on the next Experience League Live.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. Thank you,
Thank you, Nick.
Daniel. Thanks, Hung.
Take care.